Hello everyone, and welcome back to From Our Basement Gaming.
Hey everyone.
We are back with part 3 of our Kid Icarus Let's Play.
Yep. We're trying our hardest again to beat the level.
Yes. Thank you for your patience, we are back. Yes. Most of you know because of the community post, but if you didn't see it, yeah, we had a brief hiatus the end of May, because sickness and
I want to cuss.
free
but I'm
work.
Afraid. At this point.
We might be slightly past where it's okay, but I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but long story short, yeah, Connor got very sick, didn't want to get me and Mom sick.
Yes.
He basically had no voice anyway, so
Yeah.
it would have been very awkward. I would have literally been doing all the talking. I know I do a lot of the talking, but I think you guys would have been weirded out that Connor was saying nothing.
Right.
And been like, is Connor okay? And I'd have to be like, no, he's sick. So I wasn't going to do that to him.
Thanks.
And he was nice enough to not spread his sickness, so
Right.
yes.
I still get emotional guilt and well, that's an interesting
Yeah.
emotional guilt, and I get depressed thinking about that one time I was here and it got the whole house sick.
Right.
All both of us.
Yeah, he got sick from work, made me sick. Thankfully it wasn't, the big one, it was just a cold,
Right.
but,
And that is a fear of mine.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a cold connected to an infection of my sinuses.
I don't even know if they, test for that anymore when you go to the doctor. I'm kind of worried eventually they'll, for political reasons, stop testing.
So am I.
And not the reason they should, the reason we want it to be that it's no longer relevant. But I feel like it's going to be relevant just like the flu is relevant,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because, yeah, I remember, it might have, I think when I got really sick in 2022, and I think it was 2022. Either that or early 2023. But anyway, I was sick for a very long time. It was like a little over a month. And then I finally went to the doctor because, like, the medicine was just not getting me better. And, they did test me for
The disease.
the disease, yeah.
Yep. The big ugly C.
And they also tested me for the flu at the same time. Thankfully, I had neither of those. But I said I was concerned because I was sick for a very long time, and I was sick enough that I lost my appetite.
Oof.
Like, I kind of had to push myself to eat lunch. All I had was like a yogurt, and even that, I was grossed out eating it because I had no appetite. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was miserable. I don't recommend that diet for losing weight. It's not a pleasant thing, because I had, like, no energy because I was sick and I was barely eating, so, yeah. But I knew if I didn't have anything, I would never get better, so I was, like, pushing myself to at least do that. But yeah, I remember they tested me for that, and since it was still in the pandemic era, I remember they brought me in through the back. Which is scary because, you know, I didn't know what I had, and, you know, when they bring you in through the back, you're like, oh my god, I have the plague. And thankfully I didn't, but they were just being cautious, so I was trying to, you know, my mom was with me and she was reminding me, they're just being cautious. You know, during this time, if the patient is sick, they bring them in through the back, regardless of what they're sick with. Yeah, I know. But yeah.
It still felt horrible.
Yeah, so now I'm like, because it feels like now that I'm older, I stay sick longer. You know, it's not like when I was a teenager, or, you know, even, yeah, I guess just a teenager, or even early 20s, I guess, where, you know, oh, I'm sick, and then I get sick for a week, and then it's gone. No biggie. It tends to be more like, it'd be more like 3 weeks to a month, and it sucks.
Yes.
So I like get very paranoid about, I want to be healthy. Yeah.
I must be too.
And also, especially if it affects my voice, because,
right,
as you guys know, I am a very talkative person.
Yes.
I like talking, I like singing, I like using my voice.
Yeah.
And when I can't use my voice, I feel sad and helpless, and yeah, empty. It would be like if a bird couldn't chirp.
Oh god. Or if a bird couldn't fly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, debatable, you know, it's up to you guys. I'm not like the best singer in the world, but I love singing, and I was singing really since I was like 2. Casually, you know, not like, oh, I'm a working musician.
Well,
I'm not. It would be nice. I would be rich.
yeah.
No, no. I mean, like, I forgot how old I was. I was probably like, was I maybe 3 or 4 at this point? I don't remember. But I told you this story, that it was around the holidays in the airport. And
You did tell me this story.
yeah, I was singing Jingle Bell Rock. They had me sing it on the, what do you call it? The
PA system?
PA system, yeah. Because I guess they were just that tickled pink that I wish I could get to that level of no fear
I'm sure
that I had when I was that young, where I know
it's hard.
I loved singing so much that I just did it in public, because the one I don't remember, because maybe I was even younger, maybe I was like 2 in this instance. My mom told me about this time when we were eating at Burger King, and I just stood up and sang the alphabet.
That's amazing.
Like, melodically, just sing the alphabet in front of everybody, and they were like, oh, it's so cute.
You amazing.
Yeah, that me. I'm not like that at all anymore. I'm like scared, and I don't want to be. Being around the judgmental and frankly mean people kind of scared all of that out of me.
I have to agree. You're surrounded by a lot of negativity, especially when you're in late elementary school age, as you told me.
Yeah, up till really the end of my public schooling. The end of the pre-college schooling. And people get competitive and cutthroat, and that tends to make them nasty to each other.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, in school though, it was just a thing where they made fun of me for everything. So of course they made fun of my singing too. Whether I actually sounded bad or not, I don't know, because anything I did, they made fun of, because kids were horrible. Yeah, they were horrible. And, it's not just me. A lot of people got bullied in school. I know, I get that all the time, especially from people in the actual boomer generation, not the ones we're calling boomers. Love to tell me, so what? I got bullied in school too. Everybody got bullied in school. It's like...
It helped me, my expectations to get a low-paying job for 100 years.
Yeah, it builds character. I turned out just fine,
Yeah, I have no bravery anymore.
I don't care what people think at all, but I gave up my dreams and I'm working at the gas station, It's like...
So you care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's just part of being an adult. And I never want to become that person where I'm like, well, when you're an adult, you can't pursue your dreams anymore. You have to settle. I don't want to become that adult. I'm like, if that's being an adult, no thanks. I won't be an adult.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have to be realistic and know that you have to work hard for certain dreams.
Well, yeah.
But I think I've gotten to the point where I don't really believe that there are certain people that a dream is impossible for. I just don't feel comfortable.
Theoretically, honestly, no. It's never impossible. You just have to have the willpower
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, and I think, something really hit me, like, when I initially read this statistic, it was very disheartening, but when I read the whole thing, I realized how true it was. So, I read an article that said 95% of adults do not achieve their dreams. And they said this is mainly due to not having enough motivation, resources, or giving up. So, initially you're like, oh, why bother if 95 fail? But what the whole sentence was basically saying, and made clear, is these people didn't have enough encouragement in their life. They weren't able to find the resources that they needed to get going.
Yes.
And so they either burnt out or just gave up trying because it felt hopeless. And, that's kind of something that I'm dealing with, where some of the people that I really care about in my life are exhausted for me and have kind of been put in this situation where they can't be supportive of my dream anymore because it's gotten past their threshold of thinking it'll be successful. And I was thinking about it, once I felt better. And I'm like, wait, am I going to give up because, based on their standard of when it's time to give up? I'm like, the person who should be making that decision is me.
Correct.
And I'm like, as long as it's something I want to do, then I should keep trying.
Right.
If I get to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to do this, or I don't even want to have that job anymore, then yeah, at that point I can stop, because it's kind of pointless if you got to the point where you don't want to do it anymore. Oh, green. Now we have night vision.
Yeah.
Not on the monitor, just it's our HDMI cable.
Well, now I know what Kid Icarus would look like in black and white.
Well, green and black.
Yeah.
It's almost like a brighter Game Boy. Like if the Game Boy had come out with a higher resolution screen, it would probably look like this. Or glow in the dark.
Full color
It's glow in the dark Kid Icarus.
Yeah, great game, right?
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's my thing, cause yeah, I mean, I had a certain family member go, yeah, but when is the point when you'll decide it's time to go with the plan B? And I just remember sitting there like, do I have to have a point where I decide that? Like, yeah, ultimately, I'm doing other things while I'm still trying to do this, but I don't like, to me, calling it Plan B implies we have given up Plan A. So I don't like the Plan B idea, because that's like, we have put Plan A away, we have considered Plan A a failure. Yeah. So I don't want to use that kind of talk, yeah. There's the, I'm doing this until the thing I actually want to do does pan out, but I'm not calling it Plan B.
Right.
Or Plan C or whatever. Because it just felt too depressing.
Right.
And there were other things that I wanted to do that I felt like realistic. I was like, yeah, realistically I can't do these things. Like the reason I'm pursuing voice acting instead of on stage or in front of a camera acting. I have low physical stamina, and I realized what kind of stamina I would need to be a on-camera actor. So that is something that I decided, well, I probably really can't do that.
Right.
And I mean, I'm still open to it. Like, you know, I could be an extra, or I could be on commercials or something. But in terms of like being, doing that schedule for like movies or a TV show where you have to record for hours on end, physically, I just don't think I could handle it. So considering there are already other things where I had to pivot or say, yeah, I can't really do this,
right.
I'm past the point where I want to do that with the stuff I really want to do.
Right, and I want you not to
yeah, because I've tried other things and they haven't panned out. Because it's another story if you try a job you really thought you wanted to do, and then it's like, oh, no thanks. You know, I think that's a little different.
Terrible as it sounds, I wanted to be running at a GameStop, and, well, they kind of prevented me from that TV.
You realized how horrible they were.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, all you have to do, I mean, oh god, GameStop. You just have to look up my experience working at GameStop, and you'll find a plethora of horror stories.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. They rejected me too.
Yeah.
And I love what they said to me. They're like, because I hadn't heard back, so I actually came in and asked, and they said, yeah, sorry, we gave the job to somebody else, because, you know, we liked you and all, but this guy had a more dynamic personality.
No, that's dickish.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I know why. That guy was willing to oversell.
That guy was willing to rip people off.
Yeah. And I, actually, in the scenario she gave, I actually cared about the fact that a single mom of 3 kids might not have the budget to buy a bunch of extra accessories with the DS that she caved in and gave her kids.
Single mother with 3 kids? You should exploit that woman to the point where she
Yeah.
gets the government's attention.
Yeah, and I was probably, I probably was thinking too much about because I overthink anyway, and in the benefit of the customer, I'm not gonna. So yeah, when she said what accessories would you recommend, I only went with what I thought was necessary, and she gave me the right answer, which was like giving the kids two different, because the kids, I guess, had very different interests, two different cases.
Increasing mother's stress level.
Yeah, for the DS, and extra styluses, and I think like I forgot what it was, an extra battery pack or something. I don't remember. It just was stuff that I'm like, this is not necessary. And you don't even, frankly, you don't even need to sell them extra styluses.
If they're good with taking care of the one.
Yeah, and you know what? Call me cheap or old school or whatever, but as long as you don't have the point open...
I prefer to call you useful.
Thanks. Thank you. Resourceful. As long as you don't... Thanks. As long as you don't have the point on with a pen, you can use a pen.
Yeah.
Just be careful, If you do it carefully, if you're like, you'll scratch it up. But if you're really gentle and you don't have the point on, a pen works. I know. In a pinch, I've used a pen on the 3DS anyway. And also, when you're just starting, you don't need to buy all the packs. See, that's the thing. I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer for a while. I know when stuff isn't necessary, and and I know the game that they play, how they're like, oh, you should get all this extra stuff, and unfortunately my parents still fell for that. With the Switch, for example, and I could say this because my parents fell for it and did this. You need covers for your Joy-Con controllers because you don't want anything to happen and damage your Joy-Cons. You need an extra screen protector for your Switch. You need you cover the buttons. This will protect the buttons. It's like, no, you don't need all that. That's like if you are going for a certain... Well, here's the thing. It depends on the lifestyle. If you know you're going to literally be riding on a mountain bike and bring your Switch with you, yeah, you might need that stuff. You might need the screen replacement.
You heard it here first.
But if you're going to mostly be playing in your house and maybe occasionally your kid will play it in the backseat of your car, you don't really need a replacement screen cover. You don't really need to protect the buttons unless you're letting the kids like eat candy and then play without washing their hands. I actually kicked one of my friends out of the house for playing my N64 with sticky hands. I was mad.
Yes, and he was the reverse of that song. It was like, I hate you always for doing that day.
Yeah. Well, I'm very protective of my video games and my computer. Yeah. I will not hesitate to kick you out if you're being disrespectful.
That was his fault for playing with gross hands.
Yeah.
But having a romanticism for it is why I don't eat and play games at the same time.
Yeah, and that controller, that Player 2 controller, the B button became very stiff thanks to that. Yeah. So... And that's stuff that, back in that day was really hard to fix. Yeah.
Because not all of us were skilled with Daddy's tool.
Yeah.
In fact, Nintendo actually didn't want to play with Daddy's tool.
No.
Any problems.
Yeah, you would get in big trouble. That's why they had those stickers that said do not remove.
Pretty much.
And if you, took your thing to Nintendo to get it fixed and that sticker was removed, oh boy.
You removed the sticker. Excuse me? You removed the sticker. teased.
Yeah, they make jokes about that, but when it comes to Nintendo, they were pretty serious.
Yeah.
I forgot what cartoon made that joke.
Same.
But, and it wasn't even, it was with, excuse me, I think it was with an appliance in the case of that cartoon.
Yeah. I want to say Rocko's Modern Life.
I would not be surprised if it was Rocko's Modern Life, because that's a show that I'm really looking forward to rewatching, because even as a kid, and I enjoyed it, but even as a kid, I'm like, I won't appreciate this until I am this age, and experiencing this kind of life.
Pretty much.
So I really want to go back and be like, how much of this can I relate to? And then I'll probably start crying.
We both will.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know if they play video games, you know, we're relatable with that stuff.
Yeah, no, we met Rocco's voice.
We did actually.
Very friendly guy, oh my goodness. And I love voice actors like that don't have a huge ego and will just like... I was shocked, like, you know, we were waiting for him to come back. We had paid for, you know, the autograph. And the volunteer was like, oh, they're here for autographs. He just walked right up to us casually and like introduced himself. Like, hi, I'm Carlos, you know, shook our hands and was, you know, talking to us as a fellow human being. There was no like I am the celebrity, you are the fan, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Which even some of the most friendly voice actors I've met kind of have that separation.
Yeah.
He did not.
Yeah.
And I was like shocked in a good way.
Was I? I heard was touched seeing a guy who also was a very big person in my childhood.
Yeah.
And he was a very down-to-earth individual.
Yeah, and a lot of voice actors from his generation are like super cool.
Yes.
I mean, because even some of the like really big deal names, like and I'm not bragging, by the way. These are people that any of you can meet. You just have to go to the right convention. So I'm not flexing here when I say this, just in case anybody else did. But like, I was so happy to meet Jim Cummings.
Nice.
It was actually at Anime USA. We'll give it 1 or 2 more tries because we have like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I keep stumble all over this game.
Oh, I know, it's a little difficult, but oh wow, it's already that time. Okay, sorry, I just realized how late it is. But anyway, he was just super friendly, down-to-earth guy. I was really, like, you know, the typical, oh, I'm so happy to meet you, you voiced my childhood. And his response was, yeah, and you turned out alright. Which was hilarious.
It was. It is.
But, yeah, and, you know, I've met other celebrities that, you know, were friendly, but they're aware that they're...
Yeah.
I mean, voice actors, but they're like aware that they're kind of celebrity status. Even the super friendly ones, like I don't have to name drop him, but I can name drop Roger Craig Smith.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, hey, yeah, nice to meet you. Pose for the picture. Sign the autograph. Okay, have a great day.
Sonic, right?
Yeah, Sonic's third voice actor.
Do that. Hey, nice seeing you. Post a picture, sign autograph.
I'll do the character voice.
Make fart noises on the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Same.
Like, he was fine. That's kind of what
Fun guy.
it's what I
He was fun.
expect from most of the voice actors I'm going to meet.
Yeah. The average.
Yeah. And, I mean, we have other exceptions too.
Yes.
I want to make it my goal to meet all the English voices of Sonic. That's going to be a high ask, but
That'd be cool.
I already have all three. I only see rappers for two. I am missing a cough drop. Oh well.
Isn't
That's
it
fine.
on the table on your side?
Yeah, I'm here. I think the couch.
Oh, Jack on it.
Either the couch ate it, or I ate it, and I lost the wrap. Oh no, there it is.
It fell on the floor.
Yes. Thank goodness it's in its wrapper, so I can eat it.
Yep.
Oh no, don't eat that.
Drinking sukiyaki. And I'm afraid that's the end of today's episode.
Okay. Well, bye guys.
Yep.